Hello everyone, I want to make a video today about what is your most favourite film. Now let me rephrase that, sorry. What is your most notorious guilty pleasure that you had from when you was a child in terms of film? Now, I know there's plenty of films out there that people love from when they were a child. For me, films that actually have been acknowledged as true classics such as Back to the Future, Star Wars, The Goonies, Indiana Jones, E.T., several of the Disney films I used to love. I mean, off the top of my head, there's loads and loads and loads, but those are the ones I remember most off the top of my head. But there's guilty pleasures as well, lots will not admit to liking, or that we shouldn't really admit to liking, but deep down inside we know we do. So I think this is a good place to pull out. This is a good place to let out what you really, really love. And what film you continuously rented out and kind of had to hide under your coat as you was leaving the video shop because you were ashamed that you was actually watching it again and again. Now for me, and I'm sure I'll get plenty of flack for admitting this, it was a film I used to rent out all the time. When I was between the ages of about 5 and 10 was, I can't believe I'm going to admit this, was an Ewok adventure, otherwise known as Caravan of Courage here in the UK. Basically it was a spin-off from Return of the Jedi, and at the time, you know, Star Wars was the biggest thing ever, and to me anything that was Star Wars related I loved, and to me, you know, I loved watching those things. I loved the fact they were going to rescue some kids' parents from a giant monster thing. And what was funny was I grew up for years, a couple of years when I first watched it, thinking that the kids were like a young Luke and Leia. Obviously they weren't, because they weren't as good. But you know, it was my guilty pleasure, and I'm even more ashamed to admit, I don't even know if I should be admitting this really, but for film nostalgia factors, I bought the DVD. I'm sorry, I just couldn't help it, I couldn't resist. All those years I used to rent this film out from the video shop, and that was the only way I could watch it. And when I was between the ages of 5 and 10, I must have rented it out, you know, once every 6 months or whatever if I could. And even my brother used to get sick and tired of me renting the thing out. He used to be really annoyed when we'd go and walk to the video shop, because that used to be quite a good trip for us, going to the video shop and choosing a video. He'd try and choose something really sort of adult, you know, really try and push our limit a bit, something that was scary us, and then there's me walking over to Ewok Adventure. You can imagine how much of a social life killer that might have been. And watching it back now on DVD, it's good for nostalgia, but I must admit I kind of wonder why I watched it so many times. You know, I don't understand it really. But I just want to know what your main guilty pleasure was when you was a child. What was the film that you used to watch that you know is total crap, really, but you couldn't stop watching it? Now it could be from any generation. I mean, I guess today's generation of kids is going to talk about things like Pokemon the movie, maybe. I mean, I've never actually sat down and watched it, but it's got to be total crap, surely, hasn't it? I mean, kids from the late 80s might think about things like Garbage Pail Kids, the movie. If anyone has the unfortunates of actually remembering something like that. Or Mac and Me was another one. It was truly, truly terrible. Maybe it was some film that you were too young to watch at the time, you watched anyway. Maybe it was some film that everyone else says is total crap, but you love. It's an absolute masterpiece, and everyone is wrong about labelling it as a guilty pleasure as such. You know, maybe it's an underrated masterpiece of its own. Anyway, I'd love to know what your guilty pleasure is and why. And the more weird, the more culty, the more outrageous the choice, the more interesting this YouTube discussion could be. So, without further ado, I'll let you guys get on with discussing what your most guilty pleasure is, and it'll be interesting to see what we get back. So, get back to us. And if you get a chance, rent this baby out. You'll love it. You really will.